Final segment, baby. Don't listen to Alex. Government loves you. Wall Street's your friend. Everything's going to be fine, baby. Ha, 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 yeah.
I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, let's jam in some calls here with Max Keiser. Max?
Say, speaking of the pimp game, have you pimped my website?
MaxKeiser.com. It's almost as good as Infowars.com.
To Alex Jones listeners, I'm trying to get my video, which was from this week's show on my show On the Edge. I put the video up there. I'm trying to get up to 50,000 views.
Well, you've always got great TV show. What's your, especially when I'm on it, but what's your pimp game today?
Well, the pimp game today, and I love that expression you started using last week, by the way, to describe what was going on in terms of people basically. What I call it is the Stockholm Syndrome. People fall in love with their captors, and I think Americans have developed a mass case of Stockholm Syndrome. They've fallen in love with their kidnappers.
Well, absolutely. We have this ruling class who has a rigged game in the stock market, and they're just literally gotten greedy and screwing up everything. Somebody's got to stop them. Let's take some calls from Max Keiser. That video is up on MaxKeiser.com. We'll link it up on Infowars.com. We'll help you get up to 50,000 there, Max.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We have lots you have lots of videos of more than that. I guess you want it in a few days. Michael in North Carolina, thanks for holding.
Hey, hi, Alex.
Hey, buddy, go ahead.
Thank you for what you do, and while Max is on the line, Max, thank you for what you do, too. You guys are speaking the truth in a time of universal deceit.
But that was another Al-Qaeda member. George Orwell said that. He needs to be arrested. But
specifically, the question I had was related to the Austrian journalist story, Jane Burgermeister, who filed the charges against the WHO and the UN for planned genocidal actions. Yesterday on Dr. Rebecca Carley's show, she said that she, Carley, and Burgermeister had been scheduled to be on your show, Alex, like a week ago.
Yeah, no, I've had them on before, and I just haven't had them on about that suit yet. We did link to the article at Infowars.com, but I'll work on that. You know, that's a good question to ask. Baxter Pharmaceutical got caught mixing that weaponized bird flu with the vaccines. Then the London Telegraph reported there were deaths in trials, but wouldn't say what company of bird flu vaccine. Bayer got caught shipping out the Factor 8 filled with HIV. I guess it's all just an accident, though, right, Max?
Well, those types of stories, you probably have more of up to date on. As you know, I cover mostly the finance stories and the banking stories, and that's my specialty.
Absolutely. Let's talk to Jeff in Mass. Jeff, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. Very, very simple. The people will not get it until they see UN tanks coming into the streets, starvation.
Well, sir, your phone is ultra low. Can you speak up?
Oh, yes. As far as the American people is concerned, it will not hit the American people until they're starving and they see UN tanks in the street.
No. They'll run out and worship the UN tanks and ask for food. And then if you're against the UN tanks, they'll say you're trying to hurt the UN, and then they'll bash your brains in with a sledgehammer. Max Keiser, comments on that?
Well, like we were saying before, I think that as long as there's this mentality out there that I'm going to be the winner, I'm going to be the lottery winner, it prevents people from getting together and pushing back as a collective force. And so there's no resistance. Now, if you were in a battle with capitalists who are trying to take over as much property as possible and there was absolutely no resistance, you just keep going. There's just no resistance. Nobody's trying to stop them because everyone has this mentality that they want to be on the other side. They're going to get the lucky golden ticket.
Yeah, all of these slaves think they're the elite. I mean, you can meet janitors that'll giggle. They think if they side mentally with the elite, that makes them suddenly on the side of the elite, even as the tank is running over them. What do you call that sickening mental mentality, Max?
CNBC.
Oh, CNBC, where they say lead is good for children, it's good for the economy. Actually,
yes, James Cramer is like, he's spinning the lottery wheel every 10 minutes of every day. Another winner. Somebody else bought. There's just one big hoax basically, and it's remember a movie that came out a while ago. They shoot horses, don't they? And it was about the 1930s. People were in the middle of the Depression, but they would dance themselves to death if they thought they'd win a free piece of apple pie.
It's unbelievable. So it's that foolish, sucker-born every minute attitude, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk to Chris in Florida. Chris, you're on the air.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you guys for speaking out so much. I just want you to think about the thriving garden of souls you've helped to cultivate for God. So I'm one of them, and I appreciate you. But I wanted to bring up Cynthia McKinney. It looks like she might be, and also Palestine, Gaza, and Israel.
Now, what is this 6 days that a congresswoman and a Nobel Prize winner in the Mediterranean, not even in Israeli waters, have been grabbed, and it's nowhere on our news, Max?
Well, I see that it's not really being covered, that at this very moment, the president of Honduras is trying to land in Honduras after the CIA, put in that coup just 2 weeks ago. No one's covering that either.
I'm glad you mentioned that. The CIA under Bush and Obama admit they were trying to start a color revolution during the election. They had the other guy announce that he'd won before the polls even closed to try to make it look like stuff was being stolen. If the mullahs wanted to fix it, they would have just not allowed a guy to run. They control who gets on the ballot. And then Obama gets up and says the U.S. is not involved. And then now he says we're not involved in what's happening south of the border. Max?
Well, he's trying to land at the airport right now. People are dying at the airport. It's a huge international story, and yet it's being just completely ignored. So that's selective news projection. So this is where your show comes in, because you're willing to talk about stories that are not being covered, and it's shocking that the mainstream media is just selectively only focusing on those stories that are going to further the interests of the corporate interests who own those news.
And even the corporate media whores are destroying their own nests, burning their own beds, but they just can't help it because it's that instinct that they're predators too. They get to lie too. It's just, we get to be part of destroying America. Oh, it's so much fun. Oh, yes.
Well, these are the same guys, who would have volunteered to be guards at the concentration camp.
I agree with you. It's just unbelievable. Well, they're social climbers, and if they say that ladder leads you up, they'll kill their grandma to advance themselves. They have no honor, no nothing, and that's why we're in so much trouble. But good men and women need to get involved and take action, and we know you're out there. Craig in Maryland, you're on the air with Max Keiser. Come on down, Craig. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Actually, my name is Hans. I think there was a misunderstanding. I'm a student at the University of Maryland, economics major.
Okay, Hans, go ahead. Hans Blix, no.
It's all right. It's all right. My concern is when you said in the documentary, The Obama Deception, the people were beginning to see through their facade. What was that you were referring to? The Federal Reserve, the whole system, or?
Yes, the people are beginning to see through the left-right paradigm, and that global corporations own both parties. Max, you want to comment on that?
Well, as you know, on your show, before the election, my attitude was I was going to give Obama a chance. I was not in the Obama deception camp at that time, but I did say that I was very troubling that he was keeping Geithner and Summers in place, and if that were to continue, then that could potentially sway my opinion on Obama. And in fact, my opinion has been swayed because he kept those guys in place. He's obviously a lackey for Goldman Sachs, and I'm even more, I would say, hopping mad than you about this, because I'm one of those suckers that was pulled into the cult of this guy, 6 months ago.
Well, Bush was so bad, everybody hoped it would end. I was hoping. Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, a big Republican, was hoping. You're not bad in that you got suckered. People were hoping, but now so many Obama supporters say, I don't care how much he lies, cheats, and steals. It's okay because, he's my, he's my criminal. The point is, I just say get past Obama. He's a diversion.
Well, you've got some. See, people are unwilling to admit when they've made a mistake, and the reason why, for me, having worked on Wall Street, that's the biggest mistake you can make in managing money, is not being able to quickly figure out you made a mistake and you have to reverse course. And this is one of the disciplines that people who work on Wall Street and manage money have to learn quickly. But in the political sphere, in the punditry sphere, you do not see that. So, for example, a website like Daily Kos, which is a left-wing site, so-called, clearly they're unwilling to listen to any items, any stories about Obama that contradict their preconceived notion that he can only do good. And that's equally dangerous, as any right-wing agenda.
All right, joining us from Paris, Max Keiser, MaxKeiser.com. Our sites are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. America, the world, change course. Stop licking the boots of government and corporations. Stop buying their slick hype. Get back to the Bill of Rights, Constitution. Get angry. Scream bloody murder, or they will take everything you've got. They will rape you financially. God bless you, Max Keiser. Great having you on with us.
Thanks, Alex.
We'll be back tomorrow.